Hello, everyone's. I am here for American Horror Story Season 9, Episode 3. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're returning, you're a family member, you one of my peoples, welcome back. I apologize. I don't have my green screen up because lighting in my studio, I need to get better lighting. And it's nighttime, so I don't have all the good natural sunlight. So yeah, I'm trying to get my videos caught up. I'm going to try to get the Prodigal Son, last week's episode and this week's episode up. And I'm going to try to do Married to Medicine tomorrow. But I had to get in here with American Horror Story because I don't know what to think now after watching this episode. It was so many twists and turns. It's like really? So let's go ahead and get into it. The Night Stalker, he is outside banging on the door. And I'm like, oh, why don't he just go to the window? Well, they didn't put a barricade in front of the door. And I guess he thought, well, I can go to the window. So that's what he does. He gets to breaking into the window. Rita, she gets her keys. It's like, all right, now let's go ahead and go to the car. But it's like, Night Stalker outside stalking us. How's this going to work? And it's like, it's four of us. And this is when Ray gets the whole, it's me against y'all type of situation. Like, I'm here to protect me. And if one of y'all has to die, then so be it. It's like, I can at least outrun at least two of y'all type of situation. So he is closer to the window and gets kind of scooped up by a Night Stalker. And it was like, you was right, somebody's gonna be left behind. So they just leave him, and he's getting slashed all in the arm by the Night Stalker. They skedoodle on out of here. Chet, being the good person he is like, I'm gonna save you, and he like bum rushes the Night Stalker, and they was able to get away. I was like, see, you was up there talking about all that mess, talking about it's survival of the fittest, and I'll be able to outrun at least two of y'all. I'm here about all myself. But this whole episode, I was side-eyeing everybody because here we are trying to flee from these killers, but we so concerned about everybody else who the killer seems to not got to yet or don't care to get to this person at all. And that was just making me mad. Like, I keep on wanting to say if I was there, but now I'm like, girl, you wouldn't be there because you don't do the woods. That's just one thing that I don't do. So that thought wanted to get in my head, but I just refused to let it get into my head. So at the other cabin, they're in fear for their life because they think it's Mr. Jingles at the front door banging on it. And then somebody throws a bag that is on fire, and dude whose name I cannot remember, he was trying to get it on the first episode in the water. He gets to stomping it. It is a bag full of boo-boo. They're like, what? And they hear laughing outside. Apparently, this is a prank that these kids do around this time of year. But I'm like, hold up. The camp been closed for 14 years. So how is this a prank that y'all do? Like, do y'all do that to like other people? Because the camp is just now opening. Dude said he been collecting his boo-boo for a week. You nasty. Once it comes out your system, you're supposed to wipe, flush, and wash your hands. Not collect it for future, doing some mess like this. They just laughing. They got a Mr. Jingles mask on, which I don't know who was out here making Mr. Jingles mask, but I guess somebody was. And they just laughing, thinking it's a big old joke because they've been calling and harassing folks this whole time. Got these people scared. So like they've had like a split moment of, child, I thought I was gone to, child, there go the real Mr. Jingles right here. Now once you seen the real Mr. Jingles, now even though I wouldn't be there, and since they're there, that would have been the time for them to hop, skip, and run on up out of here. They didn't need to see what he was doing. We know y'all fake Mr. Jingles. That's real Mr. Jingles. They didn't have to sit there and watch Mr. Jingles kill that dude before they took off running. It should have been, he got him some victims right there. So while he off killing them, we gonna run for safety. But no, they just sitting there like, oh my goodness. And he turns around thinking it's some more of his buddies. And he gets doggone stabbed up real quick. Now the dude next to him was like, oh my goodness, what are you doing? He's killing your friend. You should have been gone. When they was looking all scared, like what? When you turned around and see it was him, you should have checked the deuce. If you didn't have to do that in time to do that, he should have been seeing the back of your head as you was running. But I was just like, what is y'all doing? So like the group gets separated, and yeah, Chet and Ray end up falling into this hole that got some spikes sticking up. So like if you fall, there's a good chance that you gonna die immediately, because it was a whole bunch of like sticks, pointed sticks, just sticking up. Somehow Ray didn't get hit by not one stick, but Chet did. Now I'm like, see, Chet, you was out here trying to save Ray when Ray was over trying to check y'all to do to save his own self. And this is when, no, we're gonna get to that in a minute. Hold on. Yeah. He don't know what to do or how to help or save Chet, because, you know, you impaled in the shoulder, and if I take this out, you could bleed to death, and I don't want you to bleed to death, and like I don't know how I'm gonna get up out of this hole. So I guess I don't even know who it was, because Mr. Jingles just got out of the insane asylum, but now I know what happened. So Rita, we're gonna get to that in a minute. Rita and what's her name, Brooke, sitting there waiting by the car. Now I'm like, this don't make no sense. See, this is when y'all should have been inside the car and heading on to safety. This is when y'all need to get to the nearest police station and be like, hey, it's a mess going down at Camp Redwood. This is no prank. You know, we seen somebody kill somebody. We seen some dead people down at Camp Redwood. I need you to get police from like several different counties down there to the camp. But no, they just sitting there by the car waiting. It's nighttime. There's a killer on the loose. 2 killers. I don't know if they knew it was 2, but it's 2 killers on the loose. Why are we sitting here waiting for people? So Rita was like, you just gonna leave them? She's like, I'm going to safety. Somebody gotta live to tell the story. So Rita's like, okay, you take my car keys and I'm gonna stay here. And I'm like, something about this don't sound right. And I knew it didn't sound right. She didn't grab the needle. I don't know where this needle she had, but she didn't doggone stab Brooke in the neck. And I'm like, oh, so you in on this too. So last episode, I was thinking that Rita was a ghost. Because, you know, counselor who done got killed at least 3 times, he keep on coming back. So I thought that was kind of like Rita's situation, that she didn't know that she was dead. But no. She working for Mr. Jingles. Yes, we get a flashback. Hold on, get my notes together. Phone flipping around. She worked at the hospital where Mr. Jingles was a patient. She is there to get her PhD. She's working on her PhD, and she wanted to interview him. Apparently, she done got into the mind of several serial killers. Yeah, and she was able to get them to talk, and somehow he hasn't talked in like 14, 15 years, but sitting down with Rita for 5 minutes, he is talking and having a full-on conversation. Now she's talking about now he says that once he got there, they were telling him that he had killed all those kids. And he has no, memory of killing these people, which makes me still believe that he didn't do it, that he was just a scapegoat type of situation. And they was telling him how he was like the worst monster since monsters have been monstering type of situation. So he don't know what to think. But she says she want to study him in his natural habitat. So she gives him a play-by-play of how he will escape from this mental institution. You know, you gonna kill that one guard. You gonna make the system go down, and then you just gonna go over there to the camp. And I just want to see you in your natural habitat. But I'm like, what makes you think he's not gonna turn on you? Like, really? Then we find out that Rita ain't even her name. She stalked the real Rita, the real Rita, that was hard to say, was driving to Camp Redwood because she is an actual factual nurse. And fake Rita had been telling her for the longest time. And she thought to get out of the car and like, why are you following me? You've been following me for the longest time. She's like, oh, I'm a counselor and I'm heading to Camp Redwood. She's like, oh, me too. I was scared for a minute because you hear all those horror stories about women driving by alone and, being kidnapped. I'm like, you hear all those horror stories and you're doing the same thing that these other women have done that end up getting them kidnapped and killed. So she's like, oh, okay. Well, we can just ride to, follow each other. I'm finna go, do whatever. Just watch my car. Now, when she comes back, real Rita comes back, fake Rita then gone. So she's like, oh, I guess. So she's driving her car and Rita pulls, which was so creepy. She was like this. It just pops up like that in the back seat. And the homegirl was like, what? Yeah, the whole creepiness going on. I'm like, Rita. Fake Rita. That's what I gotta call her because that ain't even her name. I'm like, fake Rita. Like, what are you doing? At this point, you are more crazier than Mr. Jingles because you want to, this man who has been convicted of killing several people, to one, assist him in killing yet another person, breaking out and putting him at this camp where he can potentially kill other people. That's your plan so you can study him in his own habitat? Like, really? This is what we do to get our PhDs? So as Ray and Chet are stuck in this hole and Chet is still impaled, Ray thinks that he's dead, so he's like, I gotta get some things off my chest. I didn't want to be here in the first place. It's just that I'm running for the law. I got into some trouble. Apparently he was in a fraternity and it was the Hell Week, and one of the men that was, pledging the fraternity got a little sick and like fell down the stairs, and Ray was like, oh snap, he's dead. I'm gonna take care of this. Decided I'm gonna put him in his car and make it seem like he just went off the cliff. But as the car is rolling off, dude wakes up. Chet was like, oh snap. Dude's like, what's going on? And the car goes off the cliff. He scratches Ray and knocks Ray's watch off his hand. And Ray thought everything was fine because this has been a year. But like last week they found his car and he's like, I know they're gonna find my watch, so I gotta get up out of here. I'm like, okay, so what was you going to do once camp was over? Now this is when Chet wakes up and like, yeah, that's a messed up story. That was so wrong with you, dude. And he's like, you alive? Yes, he is alive. But I guess you had to confess your sins and get that off your chest. So Xavier, Madison, and dude who I'm gonna call him Mustache, they didn't like hurt Mr. Jingles, so they hide off somewhere. And this is when they find the real Rita. And they look okay, they sitting there, she all tied up and duct taped up. And I was like, I thought fake Rita had killed her. I'm like, why you got her just around? I guess so Mr. Jingles can kill her, I guess. I don't know. So they trying to tell her, like, be quiet, like, we in danger. But she don't know. Like, the last thing she remember, like, some random woman just, like, knocked her unconscious. And when she comes to, y'all standing around, she don't know if, you good guys or bad guys or not. So they break her free, and immediately she runs straight into Mr. Jingles. And he takes a canoe paddle and just shoves it down her throat. So now she dead. So I'm like, I don't know the timeline. Well, I guess it's pretty fast since the last episode, counselor dude, like, came back. He didn't come back to life. He popped back up, like, within minutes. So I don't know how long that works. But they look on her name tag and it says Rita. So now they didn't put 2 and 2 together. Fake Rita ain't really Rita. So, okay, now we got to look out for her. Like, last time we seen her, she was with Brooke. So Brooke may be in trouble. She in danger. Now, Ray runs and catches up with them, but they want to stay and help Lunch Lady and Margaret. Now, Margaret, she's cool with, Night Stalker and everything, but, she don't know as just of yet that Mr. Jingles is alive. But he's like, Why are we trying to stop and save people? Like, we need to be getting out of here, and we need to be getting out of here now. Like, bro, we have to we have to save ourselves. Like I said, somebody has to be the one to tell the story. And I hope I'm not just a floating head talking, because I'm not in my normal space and I don't have my normal chair. So, yeah. Now, they send him off with the keys to the motorcycle, and he's gonna go get help. Now, Xavier and Mustache Dude, Ray and Madison, they go off on a motorcycle. Xavier and Mustache Dude, they walk into the woods, and they see Chet down there. Like, Chet, what you doing down there? Like, he's not having a picnic. What you think he doing down here? He done fell down here and impaled himself. So Xavier's like, okay, I'm gonna save you. He goes down there, and they hear Mr. Jingles in his jingles, and he just lifts Chet up, and I know that had to have been the most painful thing in the world. And they climb out. They sitting over by the tree. It's like, okay, Mr. Jingles over here. It's 3 of us, but technically, at this point, it's 2 of y'all, because Chet, he can't really do much. So Mr. Mustache Dude runs and pushes Mr. Jingles into the hole. But it's not Mr. Jingles. It's one of the pranksters. Now, this particular prankster, he was just hanging out with people. He's unpopular. His mama paid the pranksters for them to let him come out and do this prank. He ran into Mr. Jingles earlier, and he was saying how, I know my mom paid for you guys to hang out with me, and I know I'm not cool, but I feel like the real Mr. Jingles when I have the pseudo. And Mr. Jingles felt like, man, you pitiful. I can't be killing no pitiful person. That would be wrong. So he spares his life only for him to be impaled by Mustache Dude. But Mustache Dude didn't know it was him. He just heard the jingles and assumed. I mean, I guess I would too. But like I said many a times, I wouldn't be out there in the woods. Now, Ray is like, all right, we just gonna have to get up out of here. But Madison's like, really? Because the Night Stalker walks up, so he gets on the motorcycle and just jets off, and he's thinking he is home free. But little does he know, Mr. Jingle is down there, and Paul Ray's head gets cut all the way and completely off. Now, my first thought was, is he gonna come back headless? But then I was remembering Counselor Dude, when he got stabbed in the stomach area, he came back and he was fine in the stomach area. So I guess when Ray comes back as a ghost, he's gonna come back whole. But her name ain't Madison. Her name is Montana. Her name is Montana, y'all, not Madison. Her and Nightwalker looking at each other, and they start kissing. I'm like, what? And she says, why haven't you killed her yet? Excuse me, killed her? Killed who? Are we talking about Brooke? Are we talking about Margaret? Are we talking about Lunch Lady? Are we talking about Rita? I'm thinking she's talking about Brooke. So, in my mind, I'm thinking, so what if the best man and Brooke's wedding was Montana's brother, cousin, or something like that? What if that was it? Or it couldn't be the groom-to-be's sister, because she would have been in the wedding and Brooke would have known her. Why are you trying to kill somebody, and why are you using said Night Stalker to do it, is what I want to know. Yeah, it was so many twists and turns, Rita not being Rita, and Rita being the fake Rita being the reason that Mr. Jingles is out and killing again. I was confused as why everybody, we need to save this person. We need to save this person. No, you need to save yourself. And then the last bit of Montana knowing the Night Stalker. Y'all, I was so just lost, but I wanted to get this episode done because I'm trying to get all the episodes from last week watched, doing a video and upload it in a timely manner. So I'm going to get there in these next few days. So that was the gist. If I left anything out, by all means, leave a comment below. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Feel free to subscribe. It's free all day, every day, free 99. Make sure your notifications are on so when my beautiful face puts up a video, you can click on it, you can like it, you can share it with your people. If you're returning, you're a family member, you one of my peoples, welcome back. Y'all know what to do. Tell your people to tell their people to come over and be one of my peoples. This is Lady T signing off. Have a good one.